and they put him in. He's not doing so well anyway. I guess it's going to be her, but we'll see. You go ahead, take care of that. Get out of here. You know, if we do that to one of their rallies, you know what happens? Front page how bad we are. We do that to one of their rallies, to Bernie or to Hillary, and they would say, isn't that terrible, the press, the dishonest press? They'd say, they're the most dishonest people in the world. They would say, the same thing, don't we agree? Wouldn't be quite the same. Okay, let's go. Come on. Let's go. We can sit down. Look, everyone's so excited. You want to sit down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sit.
Sit.
I love you, baby. Are they out? Are they gone? Watch. After a few minutes, another one will pop up. It'll be a Bernie person. Oh, would I love to run against Bernie? Came up and took away his microphone, and he went to the back like a little hole. They took away my microphone. That doesn't happen to us, folks. So we were in Chicago yesterday, and it was amazing. We had 25,000 people coming, and we had disruption. They're disruptors. That's all they are, disruptors. And they really came. You had heirs there, you had all sorts of people. Not a lot of people that you'd like, but you know what? I sort of want to like everybody. But these were absolute disruptors. And rather than go through the whole process, I didn't want to see anybody get hurt. I got plenty of time. Anybody else want to stand up? All right. Get him out of here. Get him. Get him out. Boy, this place is packed. You know, we have thousands of people outside trying to get in, and these people are taking their place. It's not working. We have thousands trying to get in. Get him out.
Get him out. Get him out.
Anybody else? There's a lot of people up there. What we have to put up with, you and me and all of us, we're trying to make this country great again, and it's really hard with people like this. Okay? You know, when you think about it, we want a strong military, we want protection, we want to take care of our vets. Think of it. We want a good home, we want a great family, we want education, we want great health care, we want all things. What's to argue with, right? We're looking for the same thing as them, as anybody else. What's the point in doing what they do? They're disruptors. They're disruptors. And let me tell you, the reason they're doing it is because there's never been anything like this that's happened before. Because you know what, folks? We're going to take our country back from these people. We are going to take our country back from those people. They do nothing. They do nothing. We're going to bring it back and we're going to make America great again, folks. We're going to make it great again. Very gently, very gently. I told the police I knew there was going to be problems here. They said, why don't you cancel? I said, no, we're not canceling this time. And I told the police, you have weak people, and they're going to protest, and they're going to stand up as individuals because they don't have enough to do it as a group. And they're going to stand up, be very gentle when you take them out. Very, very gentle, all right? And so the police are doing that. Okay, are they all out so far? Any new ones want to stand up? Anybody else want to stand up? I'll tell you what, there is nothing so interesting as a Trump rally, right? And I'll stand up all night and we'll do this all night. And you know what? It's interesting. Because we have thousands of people outside want to come in. So I know you probably have a few more. They'll stand up in the middle of a point. They always pick the right time. Oh, here's a good point. He wants to make boom. They stand up. Almost we're better off if we don't say anything because you hear that little weak voice up there? That's a protest. It's actually when all of the room goes, there they are. So now I have to stop. Whereas that voice, you can't even hear it. It's pathetic. But yesterday in Chicago, 25,000 people coming. We were going to have 15,000 outside. We had speakers saying 10,000 inside. And we had disruptors. Protesters. I call them disruptors. They had all professionally made signs. They're holding them up. It says Bernie on it. Bernie. You know, he was a lousy senator for a long time. All of a sudden he runs. He didn't do a damn thing in the Senate. Hillary, frankly, let's face it, you look at what's going on in the Congress, you look at what, they're down 35%. There's no excitement whatsoever. The Republicans, you know what? We are so far, millions and millions of people are showing up at the polls to vote. Thank you, and it's for me. It's not for, I tell you what, it's not for little Marco, and it's not for Lion Ted, okay? It's not for Lion, the biggest liar. This is the biggest liar I've ever seen in my life. It's not for Marco, it's not for Ted, and it's a great honor. I want to tell you, it is a great, great honor. What's going on? Now get him out, get him out. Get him out. These people, and then, you know what? And then the audience gets rough with them, and the press says, how dare they, how dare they? Try not to get too involved up there. Don't hurt the person. Don't hurt the person. See, I'm a non-violent person. Did you know that about me? Try not to hurt the person. Thank you, police. The police do a good job. Look at this, look at the abuse our police are taking from this person. No, look at the abuse they take. Boy, oh boy. we're going to have to go back about 15 or 20 years, I think, folks, because what we're doing in this country now, it's not working. I want to tell you. It is not working. Just organized nonsense. It's just nonsense. We have a First Amendment right. We have a freedom of speech, and we're not allowed to do that because of this garbage right over here. We're not allowed to do it. Together, that's okay. We'll do it. Okay. Well, I'm going to defend you. Believe me, we're going to defend you. And I'll tell you, if somebody like Hillary gets in, you're not going to be defended. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. They're going to end up with 4 more Supreme Court judges, and you'll never recover as a country in a million years. And we have something happening with us now. Millions and millions of people are going to the polls that have never gone. They're going out and voting. On the Republican side, by the way, as I said, Democrats down 35%. Bernie doesn't inspire. It's a little group that want a free lunch. That's all it is. And Hillary has 0 inspirational quality, let's face it. So they're down. Just listen to this. From 4 years ago, they're down 35%. We're up. We have states 102% up, 75% up, 60% up. Millions of people are going and voting, ideally for me, because I've won so much, but they're voting. They're voting, and some never voted before. Many are Democrats. They came over. Many are independents. And many are people that never voted before. When I sign, and I'll do that in a little while, and when I shake hands with people tell me, I'm telling you, every 10th person tells me, Mr. Trump, like a 50-year-old guy, 60-year-old people, a 70-year-old, actually, my all-time was a woman, 93 years old in Tennessee. She never voted before. And she's got a Trump shirt on. An incredible woman. It's called the movement. In the history of the United States, and I say it in front of these lying, thieving reporters, they're the worst. And by the way, if I say it and it's wrong, they'll have a big headline. Trump was wrong, but they're reporting it anyway. They have to report it. At some point, they report the truth. In the history of the country, there's never been anything like this, folks. The Republicans were not doing exactly well. Yeah. We had stiffs like Mitt Romney running for office who failed so damn. By the way, that should have been an easy election. Yeah. We're running against a failed president, and he fails to show up. The last month, what happened to him? He failed to show up, and he got creamed. He got beaten badly. Sadly, but he got beaten badly. All right, so here's the story. We have millions of people. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out. Get out.
Soros, go to hell with the rest of them. Paid by Soros.
I hope you arrest these people because I'll tell you, they deserve to be arrested. And some of them are very bad, but I'm going to ask that you arrest them. I'll file whatever charges you want. Whatever. now on. Let's ruin the rest. They're going to ruin the rest of their lives. If they want to do this, let them have a big arrest mark. They got arrested. Some of these people are swinging. You know, we don't swing. They're swinging, meaning this. They're swinging. And you know what? That's not right. That's not right, folks. Okay? And then if you swing back, it's like, oh, we were terrible. We were terrible. So I hope you arrest them. And do whatever you have to do. And you know what? Once that starts happening, we're not going to have any more protesters. So in Chicago, we have 25,000 people. We have 3,000 or 4,000 protesters. They all came at the exact same time, which means it's an organized deal. And it's organized by the group that endorsed Bernie. And you know, they said, oh, well, no. But then they came out and they said they did it, MoveOn.org. Third-rate organization. They finally think they have some power. Bernie, by the way, doesn't do it nearly as well as we do, folks. And I can tell you. So we had 25,000. I had a decision to make. Do I go and speak and watch an unbelievable riot where a lot of people are going to get hurt and maybe killed? Or do I say, I'm not going to do it? And I said, you know, and I was totally sick, but the people are going to be fighting. It would have been horrible. I said, you know what? Let's not do it. And it turned out to be a great, great decision. Nobody was hurt. Listen to this. Nobody was hurt. I got great credit for good reaction under pressure, which is always nice, right? You have to react under pressure. Our president doesn't know how to react under pressure. Our president is incompetent. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And then one of these people from that organization, they were on one of the stations last night, they said, I think we made a mistake. Trump got more publicity because of this than he would have ever gotten by speaking to 25,000 people. But safety is important. So today, so that was yesterday in Chicago. Really worked out well. And we all got a lot of credit. And frankly, so good. People weren't, within reason, they weren't even hurt. It was amazing the way it worked out. Everybody dispersed. And then I'm watching a couple of the programs, by the way, and I'm watching shots from 4 hours before, like it's live, like it's going on. And then I said, well, it can't be live because they're all dispersed. I call up, they're all dispersed. Then I say, wait a minute, I just saw that 20 minutes ago. They kept rerunning it over and over and over like it's live television. Dishonest reporting, dishonest media, very, very unfair. Okay. So today, we went to Cleveland second, and they were incredible. We had a tremendous 27,000 people in this incredible place. But before Cleveland, we were in Dayton, Ohio, and the crowd was unbelievable. In fact, really incredible. We didn't have anything like this. We had very little disruption. It was going along, and all of a sudden, the people in the front row start screaming, "Be careful! Watch it! Watch it!" I'm speaking. I'm saying, "What's this all about?" I look back. And there's a guy charging the stage. And I mean charging. He put on a bull rush. Charging the stage. And I have to tell you, folks, the Secret Service was unbelievable. Stand up! Look at these guys. Give credit where credit is due. You know, the Secret Service, they got a little bad publicity. They don't deserve it. This is a great group of people. I've gotten to know them. You know, the crowds have been so large, they said we have to have Secret Service. And I've gotten to know so many of them. These are incredible people, incredible individuals, and they are tough. So this guy charges. The people are screaming from the front row. This guy is charging from behind. Because we're in this hangar. It's a massive hangar, much bigger than this. The room was full. We moved the stage way back. It kept going back. And then we just put a lot of people backwards. The place was packed. But this guy jumps over a railing that's this high. In fact, the people that were next to him couldn't believe it. And he was clapping like this, the whole thing, clapping, clapping. And then all of a sudden, boom, he jumps out. And they're screaming, look out, and I look out, and I see this guy charging. Now I'm elevated, but they're charging, he's charging. He's got his girlfriend in the back screaming like crazy, screaming like a total maniac. And this guy is running, and the Secret Service guys, he just got to the stage, and the Secret Service guys hit him like you wouldn't believe. And he was a tough guy, he was a strong guy. In fact, the people couldn't believe that from a standing jump, he was able to get over a 50-inch railing. That's a hard thing to do. So in a certain way, I guess he was in pretty good shape, but strong. But he got over this railing and you know, just phony people, clapping, 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 says, you ready? Jumps over, tries to make a rush at me. Now, I was ready. I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been out there fighting. I don't know if I would have done well, but I would have been boom, boom, boom. So you probably saw on television today, I'm turning around and saying, what's going on? And I got it from, and those people were so great. The heart, you know, they were scared. They're looking, watch out, Mr. Trump, watch out, watch out. And I turn around, and I see this guy just totally rushing the stage. And he gets to the thing, he actually had his hand on, or a couple of hands on the stage. And I will tell you, he got taken down. You would not believe it. He has got to be one very sore person. But that's not the terrible part. The terrible part, I'm going to tell you, right? So they bring him into a court, and they process him, and the judge lets him go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me tell you, if he would have gotten on stage, it would have been a problem, to be honest, because it would have been a problem. Because he was looking to do harm. This wasn't a guy that was looking to, you know, have a little fun. This was a guy that was looking to do harm. So the judge let him go. And then one of my people said, wow, they found his name. And it was probably ISIS or ISIS related. Do you believe it? And then they go online. My people found this. Then they go online, and they find the guy is playing all sorts of very, let's say, music that you wouldn't be liking, dragging an American flag along the sidewalk, making all sorts of gestures, having all sorts of things on the internet, and he's probably or possibly ISIS related. Now, let me just tell you where I have some real problem. Number one, that should have been found out, okay? It shouldn't be found out by one of my internet people. Number two, this guy should be in jail right now. He shouldn't be out. This guy should be in jail. He should be in jail. And for a judge to let him go is incredible, but he should be in jail. Yeah, law and order. It's called law and order. Who said that? That man. Now, you know, what you said is a terrible thing. A lot of people say, law and order, that's a terrible thing to say. Law and order. You're right. You're right. So they let him go, and after they let him go, they found all this stuff about his real love and where he comes from and the whole thing. Now, who knows what's going to happen when they go back to get him? Who knows if they're ever going to find him again, folks? Yeah. But our courts have to get tougher and sharper and smarter, or we are we're going to be in a lot of trouble as a country. We already are. We already are. I mean, even here today, I said to the police today, look, you're going to have some protests, because I know this. I mean, I'm pretty good at this stuff. And I said, you're going to have some protests. And by the way, in Dayton, other than him, it was so beautiful. In Cleveland, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. The crowd was massive. You know, this one is packed, but it's a much smaller venue, and that's why so many people can't get in. They're outside. I hate to waste seats on these people that we take out. I just hate to waste the seats. I hate to waste the time. But think of this, look. So, you got this guy out there. He's ISIS related. All sorts of stuff back and forth. And I'm saying to myself, who would let a guy, what country would let a guy, and I mean to tell you, he went through, and he was a tough cookie, and he came through that thing, and if these guys weren't trained, tough, strong professionals, he would have gotten through easily, okay? He would have gotten, they were all over him. Man, did he get taken down. He got taken down like a sack of potatoes. It was wow. I mean, amazing. But honestly, the Secret Service, they were so incredible. But now the judge lets him go. And now they find out he's ISIS-related or could be ISIS-related.
Wow.
Certainly, he's not in love with our country, that I can tell you, okay? And we got to get tougher, folks, and we got to get smarter. We have to get smarter, you know? You know, we had a case where, at the last debate before this, did I win that debate, that last debate? You know, my daughter said, Ivanka, and my wife, Melania, they said, Dad, darling, don't fight back. Don't hit them. Act presidential. It's very hard for me to do that. You know, it's easy to be presidential, but when somebody like Little Marco hits me, or Lion Ted, that's L-I-I-N apostrophe, Lion Ted, holds up that Bible, and then he puts it down and he lies. And then everyone's wondering why I get the evangelical vote. Number one, I'm a good Christian. I am a good Christian. And by the way, I'm not going to allow people to continue to chip away at Christianity, which is what they're doing. I'll make you a little promise that if we win, we're going to be saying Merry Christmas again when it's Christmas, okay? So during the previous debate, you had one of these other people. Get him out of here. Go on, get out. Get out. Beep, beep. Get him out. You can see they're dying off, folks. You can see. They're losing their steam.
Yeah!
We never give up, do we? We never, ever give up. We never give up. So one of the moderators asked a question to Lion Ted, and they said, Senator Cruz, born in Canada, raised for 4 years in Canada, a real question as to whether or not he can even run. Let's find out. But they say, that is a real question, by the way. There are a lot of people that think you have to be born on our land, okay? You can't be born in Canada, raised there for 4 or 5 years. He was a Canadian citizen until 16 months ago. Give me a break, okay? I mean, what is this? I mean, are we supposed to have laws, or are we supposed to be playing games? But anyway, let him run. He's not going to win anyway. Who cares? So they asked Lion Ted. They said, they didn't call him Lion Ted. They said, Mr. Senator. I said, Lion Ted, that's a pretty bad answer. They talked about waterboarding, right? You remember. And they said, let me ask you, Senator, waterboarding. Are you in favor or are you against? You know, something to that effect. And he didn't want to answer it because, you know, he didn't like the question. He doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't, he likes it in one way, but he's politically correct. He wants to be careful. Got to stop with his political correctness, folks. It's killing us. So what do you think, Senator? And he didn't want to really answer. He gave a very bad, you know, he's a good debater, but he's a bad talker. You understand what that means, right? Good debater, but I beat him in the debates. I don't know where's this coming, but he's a good debater, bad talker. So here's what happens. So he didn't want to answer. Then they look at me. What do you think of waterboarding, Mr. Trump? Now, I didn't just say it's good. I said, listen, in the Middle East, they're chopping off heads. In the Middle East, they're drowning people in cages like animals. They're drowning people, 40, 50 people in cages. They're putting them in, dumping them for 1 hour, pulling it up, everyone dead. This hasn't happened since medieval times. When I'd read, I always loved history. And I'd read about different periods. And I'm thinking medieval times, right? That's like where the chopping of the heads. And we only saw it with James Foley, this beautiful person whose parents I got to know, incredible people. I helped them with their foundation. But these are great people. And the son was this beautiful person. And that was the first we saw with James Foley. And then it happened with others. And then you'd see 20 of them and 15 of them. And if you were Christian, you were really in trouble. So they're chopping off the heads of Christians. And I said, and anybody else that got in their way. These are animals, folks. These are animals. These aren't people. These are animals. And I was against going into Iraq. You know, they'd say, oh, well, he wasn't. But let me tell you, believe me, I was against. It was a mistake to go in. it was a tremendous mistake the way Obama got us out. Because the way he got it, remember I said, keep the oil, keep the oil. You know, in the old days they had an expression, to the victor belong the spoils, right? We're the victor, if you call it a victor. We get nothing. You know what we get? We spent $2 trillion on a stupid war that totally destabilized the Middle East, that Iran now takes over Iraq without firing a bullet. Forever they've been trying to take over it. They've been fighting back and forth, but the militaries were even. So they'd fight and fight for 2-3 years, bombs this way, bombs, nothing happened, they'd rest. Then they go back and fight. We decapitated one of the armies. We decapitated one of the countries. We leave, Iran's taking it over. Second richest oil reserves in the world is Iraq. Nobody knows that. Iran's getting that. Iran's getting $150 billion, this crazy deal that was made by Secretary Kerry, who is horrible. Never once walked, right? Never once walked. Never once walked. So anyway, so I said to him, they're decapitating people, they're drowning people, and they're chopping off heads. Yes, I'm in favor of waterboarding, okay? And I said, and as far as I'm concerned, you can go a lot stronger than waterboarding if you'd like. And believe me, it works. It works. You know, I watch some of these weak generals say, oh, waterboarding, sir. It works, folks, okay? We got a lot of information. And not that I want it, not that I like it. I hate the concept of any kind of torture. It's horrible. But they're chopping off heads, and they're drowning people by the dozens. And what do we have? And then I hear that Mr. Trump said a horrible thing because he's not going by the law. And the law doesn't allow, because of Obama, he brought it up one step higher, doesn't allow waterboarding anymore, right? So I said, no, I want to obey the laws. We have to obey the laws. But think of it, folks. They chop off heads, and we talk about we can't do waterboarding. And think of this. We have dinner, right? Tonight you're going home, you're having dinner. I have dinner, you have dinner. We all have dinner. You guys up there? Yeah. Actually, good seats. I get a good view of all this stuff. But let me just tell you, and thank you for being here. Thank you. And especially thank you to the people outside who didn't even get in. I think they have loudspeakers outside, but that's not quite the same thing. They don't get to see the action, right? So here's the story. They have dinner, we have dinner, we all have dinner. Well, ISIS, we're dealing with scum. But they have dinner. Can you imagine these guys sitting around at dinner saying that the stupid Americans aren't allowing waterboarding, which a lot of people don't consider torture. You know, it's a question. Who knows? It is, it isn't. It's like the mildest form. So some people think it's torture, some people don't. It's like a borderline. So they cut off heads, they chop off heads, and we can't waterboard. So what we're doing is we're playing on a different field. We have rules and regulations, they have nothing. You don't win wars like that, folks. We have to increase our rules and regulations so we can play a tougher game. We have to change that. So here's something, a friend of mine who's very rich, and I've done it one time before, I believe, but I read it, I think it's incredible. Done by Al Wilson years ago, and it was written, and think in terms of terror and terrorism, because we've got to stop the problem, folks. We're going to build up our military, and we are going to be so strong, so powerful, that nobody's going to mess with us anymore. So here's a little poem that was written. I guess it was put in the form of a song, but a friend of mine who's really successful said, you gotta read that again. You gotta read it. You gotta read it to the folks in Kansas City. You gotta read it. I said, I'll do it.
Snake.
And I took it out, and I might have done it once or twice.
I've got that on my.
But I love it. I think it's so great. Think of this in terms of terror and in terms of terrorists, okay? Because we negotiate, we bargain. Sometimes you can't bargain so well. You have to show strength. You have to show strength. On her way to work one morning, what?
America loves your strength, Trump.
Is he with us or against us? Are you with us or against us? You know, sometimes somebody stands up and they're with me, I think they're protesters, okay? Are you a protester? Are you a protester? Where is this guy? I guess he's with us. Okay, ready? I hope they get put in, I hope these guys get thrown into a jail. They'll never do it again. It'll destroy their record. They'll have to explain to mom and dad why they have a police record and why they can't get a job. And you know what? I'm going to start pressing charges against all these people. And then we won't have a problem. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to ruin somebody's life. They're probably good kids. You know, they're probably good kids. I don't want to ruin people's lives. But the only way we're going to stop this craziness is if we press charges. Because then their lives are going to be ruined. They're going to know their lives are going to be ruined. So I'll just tell you folks, from now on, if you do anything, we're pressing charges, okay? So this is called the snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Oh well," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the broken snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a curvature of silk, and then laid him by the fireside with honey and some milk. Now she hurried home from work that night. As soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken and revived. "Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman," sighed the broken snake. Now she clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried.